Welcome to the Harnessing Your Divine Feminine show, hosted by Andrea Bagby. We believe that when you give a woman an opportunity, you give her the world. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to our videos.
Hi, thank you for listening or watching this episode today of Harnessing Your Divine Feminine, where we bring opportunities to women around the world. Today we have with us our special guest and my longtime friend, Dr. Etricia Mills. We have a long history together. I've known you since I was a baby entrepreneur. So why don't you just go ahead and tell us a little bit of how long you've been in this industry of a healer, metaphysician, author. You've done all sorts of things.
Yes, I have done a lot of things. Basically, I started when I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
And during that time, I didn't realize what it was because I came up in the Bible Belt, what they call a place where people are strictly Bible and there's nothing else. So if you talked out of line or you did something inappropriate, you were always chastised for that. And as I grew up, I began to understand or meet people who were in this type of work. And it was very interesting to me. So a lot of things I knew, and it may be a lot of people who are in the same phase where they think what they're doing is wrong or it's bad, it's not good. But these things come to you because you are gifted. And being gifted, there are more than just being a minister in some ways, and they're different from just being taboo, where nobody really will accept you. So when you find yourself in a place where you feel that you are alone, because that's the way you generally feel, like, they don't know what I know, and then people are going to be looking at me if I say this or say that, and you just don't know what to do or where to turn. Find a place similar to this.
Similar to a store,
unfold.
Like a metaphysical bookstore, a progressive church, a community, a strong, spiritual, diverse community, right?
Yes.
So you don't feel so alone when your gifts are opening up.
Right. Because a lot of times if you keep trying to push them down, they'll go away from you.
Or it'll be chaos, right? Either
right.
Or it'll just be like you don't have good teachers that way, right? Like one thing that we're blessed with is that we've had good teachers along the way.
Absolutely.
Right.
And some people, some things come out of people that totally different from their actual personality. Right. And when I'm saying this, I mean that they have the gift or gifts, but when they press them down, then it has to come out different ways. They turn to alcohol.
Right, that's
drugs,
true.
They start feeling what you call schizophrenia. All of those different things that have been labeled to people who there's nothing wrong with them, but they had the gift. They didn't know how to use it. They pressed it down.
Right.
It just overflowed, exploded in themselves. So finding the right people to communicate with about you will help you on your way to being more successful in this area of work.
Right. So you want to make sure that you're not self-expression, right? Like self-expression on any level. I do believe this lack of self-depression, like it leads to depression. When you're not expressing yourself in healthy ways, it does lead to addiction. It does lead to depression and mental illness. So when we're diverse, right, and we can explore many different things and many different ways of life and ways of practicing spirituality, that does lead to like a more healthier, like whole person, right? Absolutely. So, and you like kind of blazed that trail for people, and that's amazing. That was part of your life purpose. So that's congratulations on that.
Thank you.
So, what do you do here? What do you do in Atlanta?
Here in Atlanta, I was introduced when I came to Atlanta. I was introduced to metaphysical church or New Thought Church, is what it was called at the time. Mm-hmm. And as I went, I become more relaxed. And realized that it was nothing wrong with the kind of gifts that I had. So everybody does not have to be a prophet per se.
Right.
There are other areas. Everybody does not have to preach. There are other areas that will make all of everything come to a whole. So in leaving out one thing because you don't accept it may lead to other things that are being left out, which keeps you from being a whole spiritual individual.
Right, and just walking in your spirituality and owning who you are.
Owning
Correct.
who you are, yes. So once I got there and started learning more about the metaphysical part of life, realizing all those things that had been coming to me were just a part of my ingrained understanding and wisdom, and my consciousness going to a higher level.
Right.
Then I began to understand more about the actual Bible that people read. I
Right.
found out, oh wow, there's just as much magic in here as it is any place else. How can people condemn magic? Because we do magic constantly, every day.
Every day, right?
Every day.
Exactly.
We get up and we magically go in and we're gonna take a shower.
Right, and that's
'cause
magic.
You're cleansing yourself, and when you're in magic, that's what you do. You clean your area, you clean yourself, and you clean your consciousness.
And it's the
by
energy,
thinking those
right?
spiritual or uplifting thoughts. Some people don't realize that you have to think thoughts that are uplifting to you to stay uplifted.
Right.
So you don't fall in depression and start beating up on other people because you don't know where you are or what's going on in your world.
Right.
You got to know your world before you can know anybody else's world.
Absolutely.
So how can you accuse somebody of things that are not the same as your thought pattern? Everybody is different. Everybody have a gift of some sort. All you have to do is develop it. And you develop your gifts through your prayers, your meditation, and through your abilities to create your intent. Set your intent on what it is you want in your life.
Right.
When you set your intent on what you want, then you can get it.
Absolutely.
But if you're just walking around, oh, it'll be nice to do this.
Right.
Oh, what if I had a Lamborghini? Sound like it's a good idea, but it's just a fleeting thought. When you begin to really decide that you want that Lamborghini, then you start seeing it in your mind. You start building it from the inside out. And when it appears to the outside, it looks like magic to me.
It does look like magic, right?
How did they get that?
How did they get that, right? So I grew up in church as well, right? So I always say I had to study metaphysics to understand the Bible, right? So, and even like communion, right? Like that's ritual.
Absolutely.
That's magic. Lighting the candles, magic, ritual.
Absolutely.
So you've really done a good job of bridging those worlds and educating people that it's okay to express spiritually and to study spiritually. I always see you in there looking at books and taking notes all the time, and you're always open to learn things. And I took one of your classes one time on hoodoo, and I just found it fascinating. I found it so fascinating when I took your class. And I came in and you had all this cool stuff out laid out on the tables. And you drew a nice crowd too. I was like, wow. And so what is it? And I'm not scared, right? Like I'm not scared of anything. But like there was absolutely nothing that you showed us. You didn't show us anything that wasn't of the light. So what is hoodoo? Let's demystify that.
With the hoodoo, it's a practice, basically.
Right, it's a practice.
And then when it's things that everybody do consciously or unconsciously.
Right.
Take for instance, back in my time.
In your time, like 5 years ago. I know, it's like not that long ago.
Yeah, not that long ago. If you spill salt, then you take a pinch and throw it across your shoulder.
That's hoodoo.
So
yes,
hoodoo, yes.
I remember that. My grandmother showing me that. Throw it over your shoulder.
But salt doesn't do anything to you. Salt is a healer. it's a cleanser, it's a purifier, it's a protector. So when you're cleaning your house, if you're throwing some salt out, sprinkling in the corners or whatever, then you let it sit for a few minutes, go get it up, take it away from your house and put it in your trash.
Right. Salt baths,
clean.
right?
Yes,
you can buy salt baths at the grocery store.
And you
That's
can buy
hoodoo.
salt baths, yeah.
Right? Yeah, salt baths here, salt. I mean, that's hoodoo.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
It's as simple as that.
Yeah, and very simple. You might, if you burn candles, you don't have to burn candles. You can actually visualize in your mind seeing that candle burning.
Yes.
And as you see that candle burning, you're also creating the thing that you desire.
Right.
You want. You're cleaning, you're purifying, you're bringing in relationship, beautiful relationship.
Right.
And you're also creating the kind of job that you want. And it's all of it boils down to consciousness.
Consciousness, right? And
Absolutely.
you're thinking about, spend more time thinking about what you want versus what could happen.
Mhm.
Right?
Yeah.
Right?
What could happen or what you don't have.
Right, which you don't have.
And that was a saying that I used to like. It says, you have not because you ask not. And when you do ask, you ask amiss. In other words, when you ask for something, you find all these million ways or reasons why you can't have it.
Right? I can't
you
have
gotta
that Lamborghini because my credit score, the money, the insurance,
Yeah.
the gas,
All of that.
right? Like all of it. And if you like start thinking about how the things that could go right,
Yeah. And so you're sabotaging yourself.
right, self-sabotage.
But then you look around for who did that to me. Or somebody put a spell on me. Nobody puts a spell on me. If you want to do a spell, you do it to yourself.
You do it absolutely.
You don't do it for
I've never done
somebody
a spell
else.
on anyone else
Mhm.
but me.
Yeah. In reality, when you do a spell, even if it is towards somebody else, you're also doing it to yourself. So whatever
Right.
you're sending out is coming back to you, blessed and multiplied.
Blessed and multiplied.
So,
Right?
So remember, when you're trying to get somebody to do something that is not on their pathway or something that they are not desiring for themselves, you're creating your own cosmic backfire.
You are.
Because
Right.
It's going to backfire to you. And when it backfires to you, you're not going to be happy.
You're not going to be happy. You've
You're
got to
trying
do
to-
it.
If you're trying to create somebody in your life, just write down, set your intent, the person that the kind of talents that you want that person to have. And what are you bringing to the table?
What are you bringing to the table? Right.
It must be balanced.
Mhm.
Everything has to be balanced. So as we go along with working it with magic, we find that if we try to draw somebody to us that is not on our table, we're going to get the worst end.
We get the worst in. I know. Chaos.
It's good for a
Right.
minute, but then that person, if they don't want to be there, they're going to treat you real ugly.
Right.
They're not going to do the things that every time there's going to be something you dislike about it.
Right.
So now you're trying to fix that, and then you're trying to fix something else. And all of this stuff is building up inside of you. And you got to deal with it
You got to do it.
because you're always stirring the pot. My thing is always let your higher power, your higher self bring the things to you that you desire. Because then it'll come right.
Exactly.
If you're fixing a thing, you're going to have to keep going over there fixing. But if you allow that higher power, that's consciousness, that higher consciousness that is within you to come in and bring what you're desiring or what your intent is, it's going to be perfect.
It is going to be perfect, right? It's going to be the best and highest good. When people come to me and they want me to show them a spell or do a spell for them
Mhm.
and I'm like, we're not going to do that. That's no, I'm not. If you really want me to do that, I'm not the healer for you. You know, I'll show people how to do it on themselves, right? So what's the number one thing you can tell people to do for themselves on themselves?
The number one thing is if you're going into these fields, use your tools.
Use your
Use
tools,
all your
right?
tools. There are always tools available to you. And these are just points of contact to help you relieve your faith, your belief for you, and the faith that you have in your belief system will cause the things to come to pass quickly. But if you're doubting One minute you want it, the next minute you want something else, the next morning you don't want that.
Right.
You're constant. The universe or the source where you draw from doesn't know what to do for you, so you just sit there. Well, once you make up a mind, maybe we'll do whatever. If you don't wait too late.
I know the universe is sometimes like, is she gonna get on this? Like, what is she doing? I know. But use your tools, right? And what are those tools? They're everyday tools, things you can buy, like even at the Dollar Tree. Yeah.
Yeah. Dollar Tree, grocery store, you got it in your kitchen.
You got it in your house, right? You don't have to spend millions. You don't have to spend a lot of money on this.
Oh, no. Some of the herbs that you use at home for cooking.
For bay leaves, right? Cinnamon.
Absolutely.
What do we do with the cinnamon?
Cinnamon is for love, it's for money, and it's for creating the kind of pathway that you want to walk down.
Right.
And you can use the cinnamon. Sometimes we do the nutmeg. That's a little thing that's made like this.
I've seen you do the nutmeg.
It can be broken into pieces, or you can leave it whole. You can drill a hole into it, and you can make it amulet, or you can make it talisman, whatever you want to do. It's just an herb, and that's all it is.
You gave me a nutmeg years ago to put it, and you said, put this in your wallet. And I did. And can I tell you, I'm here today. I haven't missed a beat. Years ago, you gave me a nutmeg to put this in your wallet.
And this was if you put it in your wallet, it was mostly for money, prosperity, bringing in the things that you needed to make your life more comfortable.
Right. Yes.
And that's all we use magic for, is just to make ourselves more comfortable in our lives. And then you have, this is a little gadget that I really do like. This is what they call, I don't know if you can really see it. This is what we call a High John the Conqueror.
High John the Conqueror. I like it. Yes.
And this little thing has been around for ages, and people have used it for ages. And the way it came about, actually, it's like with the family come from the morning glory. It's that basic root.
Is it also the revival root? What is it called?
Yes.
Resurrection root, right?
No, the resurrection root is different. That's it's the plant that when you put, it's like magic. When you put water to it, it starts to green up.
Yes.
It turns green. Brings in money, brings in whatever it is that you want. Always set your intent. Clear your space so you have good work area. Set your intent on what you want, and these things will do anything for you.
They will.
Yes.
Okay, so let's say I'm a Christian and I'm like, God provides. I'm not supposed to be using these tools. What would you tell someone?
Okay, so you're a Christian and you can't be using these tools, and a lot of Christians can't wear jewelry, which these. But what I tell you, everything was created by the same energy that created you.
Right.
So everything, if you're good, everything else is good. It's when you use your consciousness or set your intent on what you want.
Right.
See, our consciousness is what makes the thing happen.
Right.
And
exactly.
our connection with that greater self.
Right.
So, person coming in, Christian, look. I had a lady came, she says, well, I can't do this, I can't have this, this is not, it's not God-like, it's not Christian.
Right.
So I just have to ask for just what I need. But remember, the whole world was created for you. And
the whole world, right?
Things that's in it was created for you. For your care, for your keeping, for your happiness, your joy, whatever. Set your intent on the high part of it.
Exactly.
Don't go to the low part of the negative connotations of it, but go to the high.
Exactly.
And when you go to the high, you're going to ask for good stuff. So if you want money, that's what you need and that's what you want, It's there for anybody to have.
It is. And it's your intention around money, right? Like
It's your intention.
It's your intention. Like if you want your money to empower yourself, your family, and your community, I think that door's just going to open right up.
Absolutely. And it'll bring forth everything else you want.
Everything, right?
Because it's not your belief in the object. It's your belief in that power.
Exactly. That
greater power that you express through these objects. So you release yourself. You let that creativeness of you move out to create everything that you desire. You see, so it's not necessarily the object or the money, but it's your intent for your happiness, for your well-being, and that of your families, your loved ones, and even of the world. You want everybody to have joy, peace, and happiness. Therefore, even though people are having wars, and it speaks of people in war all the time, but you can pray for these people or send loving thoughts and send loving energy to them so that they can get through it. They can make it through. You don't necessarily have to try to stop it, but when you send that energy, it's going to come and then it's going to come to a stop. Depends on how many people want to have it and how many don't. So you're actually dealing with energies as opposed to the actual person.
Right, you're dealing with the energies, right?
So when you're sending that loving energy, wherever it goes, it's going to go to do whatever you're sending it for.
Right.
Same thing with negative energy. It just depends on what it is you want. But I would advise everybody, don't send out negativity to anybody.
Just no. Yeah,
everybody
it's not spiritual.
Right. Yeah. So with everybody having their own pathway, there are going to be some having difficulties and some having happiness.
Right.
But it's what you choose.
It's what you choose. It's your intent. I always tell people, just choose the light. As long as you choose the light, you're good.
Absolutely.
Like you're not going to really go wrong there. So if someone were to call, because right, we take clients from around the world. So I want an appointment with Dr. E. That's what they call her here, Dr. E. Why do they call you Dr. E?
Well, I've taken different classes, a lot of classes. Okay,
a lot of classes. Right? She's like, I've taken two. Like she's taking classes before they were classes. Like,
I took the class on Melchizedek, so then I was ordained there.
Right.
I took spiritualist classes.
Right.
Where I was ordained there. I took hypnosis, and I'm a certified hypnotherapist. Whereas in Georgia, they don't allow that anymore. You can only be a hypnotist in Georgia. Whereas when I took it, you could be a hypnotherapist. I don't know why the legislature.
It's the verbiage, right?
Yeah.
It's the verbiage.
Yeah, pretty much. So, well, the actual thing is, it was taken out by
legislation, right?
Yeah.
Right, liability. So if I were to call, so you do past life.
I do past life.
Hypnotherapy. Read like the intuitive readings. And energy healing.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So you have this umbrella of things you do. So if I make an appointment with you either in person or on the phone, what's going to happen?
Well, you're going to be scheduled to come in. You'll choose the time that you want or the time that I'm available. And when you come for your appointment, then we will do or work on whatever you need worked on.
Right.
In other words, if it's a healing, we'll work on your healing. If it's reading, we'll see what the intuitive universe has to say.
Right? Mm-hmm.
And according to that, I just want to remind everybody that every card, and I do the tarot cards, every card has a specific definition for itself.
Absolutely.
So you learn the definition, but you also connect with spirit or with the universe or with your higher source, which feed the information to you that you need to give to the person. So the following of the cards does not necessarily mean, you got to go by this definition or this definition only. What you do is you connect either with that person's spiritual energy or with combined energy that was in there, and you tell them what the universe tells you to tell them.
Right. So you're the vessel. You're
the vessel. Yes.
You've gotten really good at being the vessel over the years with people. So sometimes when we're having an event here or when you're working, we're shuffling around furniture and chairs, and you've got like your hypnotherapy chair, and you'll be like, oh, let me get my hypnotherapy chair out. And I see you like moving it around. So it's a really comfortable looking chair.
It is.
Okay. So you just lay there, and what do you do during a hypnotherapy session?
We want to get the person as relaxed as possible so that they can go into their subconscious thought pattern.
Right.
So you have your consciousness, and that's what you and I are doing on a conscious level. But when this person becomes very, very relaxed, then they can connect from that consciousness to the subconscious mind. And in the subconscious mind is what I call your Akashic record.
Akashic records, right?
Yes. And that's what everything you ever had any dealings with comes from.
That is deep.
So you can
Yes.
you can recall whenever you're ready. You can recall. Some people it takes many trips, and some people it doesn't. It just depends on the individual. If you're ready to accept what you're receiving, doesn't matter if you try to make up something to tell me, because if it's not there, it is not coming out.
It's just not coming out. So after, like, if I'm under, right, and I'm in your session, and you're laying there, and you got a blanket on, it looks comfortable. I've seen you do it. Like, I'm like, I can take a nap in that chair. But you're not gonna like cluck like a chicken. You're not gonna like say like dirty secrets or like all this like TV myth thing is just not true.
The thing here is, if it's something you don't want to do, you're not going to do it.
Even your subconscious, right? Exactly.
And a lot of time, people have believed that they have been hypnotized, and they go and do little things they've been wanting to do for a long time, because now they got that.
Because
they got that.
Right? And they feel more confident.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're like, this works, so now I can quit smoking, or now I can open that business, or yeah.
And if you don't want to, within yourself, it's not going to.
It's not going to
happen. You can get started how you want to.
Right.
I've been starting things for years.
Yeah, right. I'm like, oh.
Unless you really make that decision, you're not going to do it. You might do it for a minute, but then it's going to kind of fade away.
Right.
But if it's something you really want, and you remove those obstacles that you have placed before you, or those inabilities that you come up with, well, I can't.
Right.
Then when you turn that into I can, I will, I do.
Right.
Then all of these things will come together so you can manifest anything you want.
Anything, right?
Anything.
Right.
Millionaires are very possible. And I've known, I met Tyler Perry many years ago.
You met Tyler before he was a millionaire?
Before he was a millionaire.
Before he was a millionaire.
So what
that's
he be
cool.
telling you is the truth.
Did you hypnotize him? You were like, yeah.
No, he was he was with my nephew at the time, and they were all doing movies.
They were doing movies.
He had that inner desire.
He did.
He had that intent to where he wanted to be. Others fell along the side of the way.
Right.
But he held on
to
that vision until it manifests forth. And that's what you have to do. You don't just do it one time or two times and it works all the time. You have to continuously do it until it manifests the way you want it to do in your life. Nobody can tell you when you're successful until you decide that you're successful.
Exactly. So then if you go into past lives, what happens if I'm like, I'm scared, I don't necessarily, or past lives even a thing? Like a lot of people don't even believe in them.
Okay, when you become totally relaxed in the past life, you are, it's just like a guided meditation.
Right.
For me. It's just like a guided meditation. So I can hear you clearly, just like I hear you now, and then you can hear me clearly. And according to where you are, I try to make contact with your consciousness. And what you tell me is where I go from there. That prompts the next question for you. You don't have to sit there and try to remember, start talking this and that, unless it's something specific you're trying to get to.
Right.
But if you just want to view your past lives and just kind of get an idea of what it's all about, then you get totally relaxed. Every atom, every nerve, every cell in your body becomes relaxed. And you get rid of all of the thoughts of what you got to do when you get, oh, I hope you hurry up because I got to go. I forgot to do it. You let go of all of that.
Right.
You just be.
You're just in the moment completely.
Completely.
Right.
And when you're there, then you can go on your journey. I'll take you on your journey and you tell me what you see. I ask you, where are you? What are you wearing? Because that tells a lot about where that person is at that time.
Absolutely.
So if you have on sandals, okay, what are the sandals like? Describe them to. See, because different periods carry different kinds of sandals.
They do.
And a lot of people may just be barefoot.
Shoes are awesome. That's why we love shoes, right?
Absolutely. And then what are you wearing?
What are you wearing?
Because that plays a part in what area you're in.
So the soul, right? Like, okay, I do believe the soul goes to heaven. Like, there's a piece of the soul that goes to heaven. So if I were to be like, there's no past lives, we just die and go to heaven, right? Like, explain that.
Well, this is my interpretation.
Okay.
And I got this idea from something else that was spoken
Okay.
to me. My idea is this. It's always believed that a person either to hell or heaven, but my understanding is that they don't go anywhere for the present time until they're ready.
Until they're ready. Right.
So when you're there, when you're gone, you're still walking around just like everybody else.
Like
and
when you're
some
dead,
of us
right.
have the gift of seeing these souls or these spirits as they're moving around.
Right. They haven't crossed over.
Yes.
Right.
So, but it's like they come in these different lifetimes to create the kind of purity that it's supposed to be before they make that final ending.
So these people, they die. And then are they going to they're going to incarnate into another soul that hasn't been born, or a pregnant woman, something like that?
Yeah.
Okay.
They wait till the vehicle's ready.
They wait till the vehicle's ready.
And this is it's believed that when you are in the spirit world, you have to go and get permission to come back to this plane of existence.
Right.
You don't just pop up when you get ready. You have to have permission. Just like pretty much everything. You have to give your body permission to sleep. You have to give your body permission to eat when you get hungry. Because if you go in there and try to stick some food in your mouth and you're not, and your body's not ready for it.
No,
it's
right.
gonna come back out.
Exactly.
You see? So you have to get that permission. Once you get that permission, this is a lot of things that people tend not to perceive. You go around and you have to get somebody to come back with you or for you to help you make your next step, because we have to be pure. In one book it says the church must come pure and without wrinkle, meaning this not this flesh, but that inside, that soul part of you must come without spot or wrinkle. So each time you come back in your lifetime, you're supposed to be able to correct or to move up consciously in a different consciousness of upward motion, so that once you become pure and you come back to the earth plane just to make sure there's nothing else, and you die as a baby, but you have to live. You have to come back, and you have to live for however many days, years, or whatever. But before you, what people think is sin, which there's no sin, but before you get to the point where you feel like you need to create a new karmic energy, you're out of here.
You're out of here, right?
And then you don't have to come back unless you want to come back to assist someone. There are many people who may not agree with this, but this is my
It's a theory.
about
Right,
it.
right. It's a theory, and there's many theories, right?
Right. So this is what happens. If you want to come back and do the same thing over and over again, because it said that they in the Kabbalah it tells about the sea or the well of forgetfulness.
Right.
So
the well of forgetfulness, right?
This is the thing that was bothering me
Mhm.
considerably, and that was that if you drink at this well of forgetfulness, then you forget all of what you were remembering from your past life.
Right.
Now you come back, start all over again. That's how they end up finding geniuses and people who can remember their whole past life because they got to the point where they could bypass that thirst at the
well of forgetfulness. Okay, that's a theory they didn't do. Like when kids come back and they're like, "Oh, I was a baseball player" or whatever, right? Yeah.
And they remember all of that stuff.
Right.
So when you get the person to come down, you're coming back so you can clear some of your karmic debt or something that you feel has kept you from being able to move to the next level.
Right.
Now, once you come back, that person may come ahead of you. It might be your mother. Right. And you might have been her mother before she was your mother.
Right, exactly.
Or you might have been her relatives or somebody. But it tends that we usually travel in the same cycles or same circles. And so if you're in a family, you may come back in that same family for years and years and years.
Right.
So it's you come back with a different name. So whenever you're in the hypnotic state, I will ask you, what is your name? And the reason I'm asking that, because wherever you are, your name may be different. You might have been a John then, but now you're Sue.
Right.
So when I ask you, and then you begin, and I start calling you by that name you give me.
Mm-hmm.
And that helps you merge more into that past life adventure. And some people come out with amazing information.
They do. They really do.
And some people have come and told me, "Oh, this was great. I started. You told me to write it down." And that's one of the things I say, when you get back, write down everything that you can remember. Because now that you've opened the gate, the information will continue to come. And as you write it down, it will give you the whole story, you see. So all of the pieces may come at different points, but you can put it back together as you meditate and focus on it.
You can.
So now you have the whole story. And I also tell them, if something should come that frighten you, sometimes you've been in some real
situations. Mm-hmm.
So if it frightens you, all you say is, and the scene fades. That's all you do.
Right.
And whenever you're going into that meditative state for yourself to view some of your past life, I would suggest you have somebody near you, or just make sure you tell yourself when you're coming back. That's important because your conscience is going to keep time. Mm-hmm. And when your time is up, something is going to disturb you and you're going to wake up, or you're just going to wake up.
Right, the phone will ring, the lights will flicker, or somebody will say something to you, right?
Yeah, all of that. It's just some will drop.
Yeah, something will drop. You'll wake up. You'll come out of it, right?
Come out of it. So this is the thing. Always make sure you set the time when you want to come back. And the reason some people went in and stayed in so long until people thought they weren't available anymore, is what I call it. So just make sure you're going to have a set time.
That's the importance.
People get worried about you.
Like, that's the difference. It's important that you go see like a trained person rather than like a social media like stream.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Like the recording, a hypnotic recording.
Right, because people know when you have that, it may not give you that cue.
Also, you want a professional. You want someone that's done it before. Like, I know for me, I want somebody that's like somebody next to me, right?
So if you get to a point where you're having some difficulties, they know what to do for you.
Right, exactly. They know what to do.
Because sometimes when you're way out, you won't know what direction you need to go, and you kind of get hung up in different challenges. And then when you do finally wake up and come back, you may not bring all of you back. You see,
and you want to bring all of you back.
You want to bring all
right.
of you back, and then because sometimes you might see somebody doing these weird things and look like they stand up talking to themselves, and you know, who with that person,
right?
You know, but they just be carrying on this real conversation because they didn't bring them all come back. So you want to be aware of the potholes or that you could fall in while you're doing your travel.
So National Guild of Hypnotherapists.
Yes.
And you're a member of that.
I am.
You're a member of the National Guild of Hypnotherapists, and those are the people I want to help me with my hypnotic experience, right?
Yes, you've been around for a long time.
Right.
Yes, and a lot of people are trying to shut down this particular area of expertise, especially from the psychologists, because they feel that it's not as elaborate, is the word I'm going to use, as the psychologist.
Because you're not diagnosing anyone.
We're
not diagnosing anyone. And, I always say use all your tools, right?
Use all your tools.
Yes. I always say go to the psychologist if you want, know what you're managing, right?
Absolutely.
But then also see your healers too, see your metaphysicians, do all the things so that you're not just using one, like you're not going to build a house with just a hammer and wonder why you're not getting anywhere with the house.
Absolutely.
So, you've got one more tool we're going to play with. I really like those. I had a student make those.
The dowsing rods.
I love it. Oh, right. So the history of the dowsing rods is so fascinating.
And some people call them L rods.
Water.
The past, they have just got usually a maple tree or some people use the weeping willows in the past.
That's where they find the water source. That's where even today, the water company gets out there with dowsing rods to find the water source.
Yes,
to know where to dig, which I think is fascinating. The Native Americans use the dowsing rods to know where their water source was, and now we use them in metaphysics. Okay, so you always do your thing where you sit up and you're like front and center. I love it when you walk in the office, you'll be like front and center, and the dowsing rods just go front and center. It's like watching something on TV.
These generally they are correct.
Mm-hmm.
Things may not necessarily come the way we think or the way we understand them. Most of the time, I'm doing them for yes or no questions.
And it's just copper.
This is just pure copper, but it's a natural source.
Right.
So that's why you use it. You're trying to, in the magical world, you try to use natural things.
Let's try it. Okay.
And with my dowsing rods, when you get your dowsing rods, you keep your dowsing rods with you. You will meditate on them. You will talk to them, tell them what they're for.
Right.
Then you will see if they got your message. Okay.
Right. You'll see it.
So, I'll name mine mostly whatever object I'm working with. If it's a stone and I know the name of the stone, I call it by that name and ask it for information. Okay, my friends, are you a little bit shy being here today? I see you wrapping all around me.
Mm-hmm.
Front and center, please.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you a question, okay?
Thank you. One moment. Let me get up.
Okay.
Let them get set. Okay, now, I want you to show everyone how you would answer yes and no questions. If the answer to the question is yes, how would you show them yes? Thank you. My friends, would you like to work with us today in this project? Thank you. Then tell us, when your answer is no, how would you show us no? If you're not sure about the answer, how would you show us that you're not sure?
Okay.
That's a new one.
I don't know. We're not sure.
Thank you very much. And each time I ask it a question, and once it gives me the answer, I say thank you, so that it will know and I will know that it knows that I know what it's saying.
Right, exactly.
So thank you. And you're okay. Would you like to speak with Andrea and myself today on a subject? Thank you. Andrea?
Okay. Is 8 Robinson's TV going to be a household name? Maybe. That's a good answer. So it depends on our marketing strategies. Yes, it said yes. It depends on our marketing strategies. Is harnessing your divine feminine going to have a successful TV show? Yes. Okay. Thank you. So what else should we ask the rods?
You can ask anything you want.
You can ask them anything.
Long as it's yes or no.
Mm-hmm.
Now, these rods or any other pendulum will work with you also. So let me show you this. Andrea is drinking something in her cup. Is this a good cup for her to drink in? Is this a good cup for Andrea to drink?
Yes.
You see, so like if you want to set something around in your house and you're not sure about it, you can take your rods and they'll give you.
Yes.
You learn with your rods how to communicate with them, and they will give you answers to whatever it is that you want to know.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, is this a good place? Now for the house, you can divide it into quadrants, which would be this quadrant 1, quadrant 2, quadrant 3, or however many quadrants you got. And then you have an object, and you ask it, thank you. Front center, please. Thank you. The root that I have here, Hydron the Comfort, should I place it in my left pocket?
Spirit does not want you to place it in your left pocket.
Thank you. Now, should I place it in my home?
Yes, very good, very good.
So you can work with it all kinds of ways.
It
would tell you different foods. Should I buy this? Should I buy that? It works just like the pendulum. It's just a little bit more flashy.
Flashy, I like it. It's a little bit more flashy.
Because you got these long rows of people. What you doing over there?
I know.
But the pendulum, you can just pull it out and go.
And the pendulum, you can really use anything. You can use a string with a stone on the bottom, or
Right.
the old school wedding rings. People would tie the wedding ring
Yes.
to the string. Yeah.
Right. They're easily made. These are easily made. This is a comfort tube. Some people will cover the comfort tube, others
Right.
will not. But I suggest you be with your rods for at least 14 days, just to communicate with them. This is your consciousness, but it's an extension of you when you become a part of them. So,
Right.
So it's not just the rods themselves, but this is the conscious concept that these rods are picking up.
Exactly.
So it's a good thing to have them around and to use them, and they will help you get out a lot of stuff that you need to go into.
Right. Just avoid situations. Right.
This is your red flag of the red
Red
flaggers.
flag. That is the red flag of the red flaggers.
If you want to know if you should go on a date, thank you, friend. Simply, should I go on a date? Will I go on a date tonight? I
mean, no, we were not going on a date tonight, Dr.
Right,
E.
no.
You're like, no, we're not doing
that. and when you start with your cards, ask them something that you know the answer to. And once you know the answer to it,
Right.
and you get to feel the laws and know that they are basically telling you the truth about, because you're gonna already know the answer. So when you ask them if they agree with you, then you can know you're on the straight. If not, sometimes your rod might need cleaning. So you would take them and you would wipe them down with a clean, damp cloth, and then you can reprogram if you want, but usually just wiping them down, get rid of some of all of the muck that they pick up during the times of all of your questioning.
So, yeah, so it's like, I always say it's like a purse, right? Like, I don't need the purse to run into the store and get it done when I need to get done, but it's definitely a helpful tool. Or a wallet, right?
Right.
Like, it's like you have all these tools, and it's metaphysical accessories, right? And they're definitely like an empowerment tool for you, right?
Absolutely.
And of course, the idea is that we live in a meditative state and that we're clear knowing and we're constantly getting messages in, and the tools help us remove ego, right?
Absolutely.
Like sometimes we have ego and we're like, is that just me wanting that, or is that like from spirit? And that's why you see a healer, right? You're like,
Absolutely.
what would you like to leave us with today?
Well, one thing I want to mention is a lot of people have fear of the stones, the gemstones.
Right.
But these are natural, earth-made, or things that was created by the Most High.
Right.
There's nothing wrong with wearing stones. Because you wear jewelry, because you dress yourself, it's for you to look pretty. These are things that were made for you to look pretty. This hat is bad hair day, okay?
Bad hair day. I like the turbans. I like it.
Yeah, it is a turban.
I mean, you wear them all the time. Yeah.
But a lot of people feel, especially in the religious field, feel like if you're wearing these things, you're praying to more than one God. There's only one God.
There's only one God, right? How are you going to pray to multiple? I agree with that.
The thing here is, all it is decoration, but it also have magical energies that comes from it. However, you have to activate them before they become magical. See, it's just the necklace. You just take it off and throw it to the side.
Right.
But then once you do some other little things, you wake up that energy within it, and whatever the stone is designated to do, or whatever the definition for that stone is, then you wake up that energy.
Right.
Otherwise, it's still,
but we're not blasphemous or anything by like wearing the stone. Right.
I like them because they look pretty.
Right. And they get into your subconscious, like the green, that's heart chakra, right? And it gets into your subconscious. And I like to say, money is green as well. So the goal is that we're making money through our heart.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yes. And so everything is connected.
Everything.
We are all the same. This air, fire, water, earth.
We're all one consciousness.
Okay.
Right.
And we are air, fire, water, and earth. Your breath, your air.
Right.
Okay. Your blood is your fire.
It is.
Okay.
It pumps. It's pumping all the time.
And that saliva,
right?
That's your water.
That's your water.
You see, so you have all of the elements within yourself. You are totally equipped for anything that you need. And like I said, all of these things are just points of contact to help you release that which you already know.
Exactly. Thank you so much for sharing your stories of empowerment and inspiration today. And thank you all for watching our episode today, or listening, or however you're getting this tool of empowerment. Thank you for watching, and remember to go out and give a woman an opportunity today.
The Harnessing Your Divine Feminine show is produced by 8 Robinsons TV. Subscribe for only $30 per year for access to exclusive and archived content. Visit www.8ROBINSONS.tv. Thank you for watching.